It is that time of the week, ladies and gentlemen. The Monday after is time for the offensive film breakdown against the Cleveland Browns. And ladies and gentlemen, whew, that was a rough one. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That was definitely some of the roughest tape that we will watch in the Brock Purdy era so far. But it's worth going through and breaking apart, understanding why it was that way. And listen, the silver linings are there. And throughout this whole situation and throughout this whole tape, the San Francisco 49ers still found a way to put themselves in a position to win this football game. Considering how, you know, they just didn't play well. I don't know how else to explain it. But I don't need to explain it. We're just going to watch. That's what we do. That's why we do the film breakdowns. Tape doesn't lie, and it tells us everything that we need to know. So we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to cry about it, and we're going to console each other. And also just understand this team's going to get better. I really don't think that this is indicative of what they are going to be in the future. Just a little step back. Also, might be onto a little trend that's developing here that contributes to some poor throws. We're going to talk about it all right now. You already know what to do. Drop an SDS and let's smash that like button, and we're going to get into it all right now. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. Texas Niner, I take full responsibility for jinxing Jake Moody. You dropped the hot take that he was going to make 3. I said it wasn't a hot take, and seemingly jinxed Jake Moody. So I will take full responsibility. If there's anyone that you want to point the finger at for that loss, I'm your guy. Just point at the Ginger and just be like, shame, Ginger. Shame on you for jinxing Jake Moody. So I apologize. That one's on me. I didn't think 3 field goals was a bold take. Apparently I was extremely wrong on that one, and I take full responsibility for that. That's on me. My apologies, guys. But what we're going to do right now, you already know, we are going to get into the tape. So this is actually going to be a lot different than we are used to around here because, as you guys know, we break down the tape every week. We've done every single one of Brock Purdy's games. And this one is not a typical Brock Purdy game. I think I have at least become accustomed to Brock Purdy playing very well, right? And so this is one of the first times that I've seen Brock Purdy have some struggles. And we're going to look at it. We're going to talk about why he potentially had some struggles. As we know, Deebo Samuel got hurt. CMC got hurt. Defense for the Cleveland Browns was playing extremely well. But I do think that Brock, in of himself, had some struggles outside of those things. So we're going to take a look at it, and we're just going to let the tape do the talking instead of you having to listen to this ginger beard the whole time ramble through this. On this first play, I do like it. It wasn't a huge positive play, but I do like some of the blocking on it, specifically Colton McKivitz. I think Colton McKivitz does a really good job getting the second level, finishing the block, getting his dude on the ground. I thought that was pretty good. I like to see Colton McKivitz and big offensive linemen and defenders in this position as they get ready to hug the ground. So I thought that was pretty good. It was a modest gain. One of the things that we are going to kind of be alert on is they did a really good job of scheming against the San Francisco 49ers offense. They crowded the box like a son of a gun. A lot of single high safety. And what it felt like they were doing was that they were using one of their safeties to be fully locked in on Christian McCaffrey. Felt like that was their number one goal. And we'll see more examples of this, but this was a phenomenal run, phenomenal blocking up front. I mean, it started positive. We started out in a really good spot. I mean, the blocking here, George Kittle and Aaron Banks do a phenomenal job of getting to second level. So as you can see, let's see what we get. We get a little pre-snap motion. Great job at the point of attack by Burford, Brendel, Banks, and Kittle at the second level. Great job by McCaffrey reading it and then cutting off the backside. Christian McCaffrey is going to run into the bench, and then he's going to give it a little hug, a little tap. Like, my bad, bruh. I didn't mean to hit you like that. All love. I thought that was pretty funny. But that was one of the better plays of the day. So, I mean, they started out in a good spot. They started out moving the ball pretty well. It's a good gap scheme right here, getting some chunk yardage. So the game started out fine, right? Some good blocking. Aaron Banks able to come pick up 26. George Kittle gets 5. Great job by Burford. Juice doing enough to create the hole. So it started off all right. We were driving. And then it was the CMC time. CMC time. A little screen shovel pass action to a Tuggy. Not gonna lie, I thought we were going for another 30 points this game. I was like, "Yep, here we go." That move by CMC was cold to freeze 5, and then you like he's so close to Brendel. Look at the spacing that little move created. That little cutback, and then knowing he has Brendel right there, it just cuts right back behind Brendel. That's a wild move in a phone booth. You see that? CMC's wild, man. Great job by Ayuk blocking downfield. We love to see it. Unfortunately, for the 49ers, they started out hot, and then it started to trend in the wrong direction after that. So we get a screen here. And they are all over it. So watch these two guys. They are 150 million% going to CMC. So that's kind of like what it felt like. Their number one goal was to neutralize Christian McCaffrey. Because you had 8 and 5 with almost a complete disregard for really anything else other than Christian McCaffrey. I mean, just watch them both they're on it. So you're starting to see how they were keying on the defense. or on the 49ers offense. And credit to the Cleveland Browns. They played well. They had a good game plan. They were stacking the box. They're getting after us. And we didn't play our best ball. As you can see, it's already 2nd and 23. And this felt like the one of the stories of the game is that the 49ers found themselves behind the sticks consistently to start drives, which really stopped drives from progressing. And this particular throw, I'm going to call this a miss just because I've seen Brock complete these throws with better accuracy. And it was kind of foreshadowing some of the struggles that Brock had today, or yesterday, I should say. Because if you look at the ball placement, it's down, it's low, it's at his knee, potentially catchable, but not ideal ball placement. And for these quick slants, we've seen Brock do a really good job of put these things kind of on that upfield shoulder, right in the gut. That one's kind of low and away. And so that was kind of like, it's not the worst throw. It really isn't. But it was like, huh. And then we kind of see it kind of snowball on him throughout the game. But even so, Brock still put the 49ers in a position to win at the end. This was a great kick out block by Spencer Burford, number 74, the right guard. Watch him kick out. Boom. Great block. Love that. Get him on the ground. Debo runs right off of him. Don't get a ton of great second level blocks, but I like the initial kick out from Spencer Burford on that play. So again, unfortunately, I've been kind of spoiled with the tape because it's just been highlight after highlight. This tape has more lowlights than anything else. So I just want to prepare you guys and I'm not showcasing lowlights to again, come after anyone for how they played. It's just to show kind of what happened in this game. Trying to show after the fact of what I perceive to be the case. This one, I'm just calling great coverage across the board from the Cleveland Browns. I mean, you have man coverage. This looks like cover one under, right? Because you've got safety, middle linebacker in zone. Everyone else is man across the board, and they're all over it. So Brock has to make a decision. His decision, get out of there. Is able to get a couple yards. But again, one of the stories of the day is how well the Browns played against the 49ers. It wasn't all bad for Brock. I thought Brock played pretty well in the first half. I thought Brock played all right. I really wasn't too concerned about Brock until really the last drive of the second half. And then things started to kind of unravel on him. To me, this is a good throw. He throws with anticipation here. You get a first down on 3rd and 2. Again, similar look. Looks like you've got man across the board. And he throws with anticipation to Kittle for a first down. So not bad, right? Purdy was still doing his thing. Like it really didn't start getting dicey on him, like I said, until later in the game. This next play was I thought a great throw by him. Great throw by him. Just unfortunately didn't come down with the football. And I'm gonna cut Ayuk some slack here too. Because I I also am gonna have to cut some slack to the refs, even though I hate saying that. Because if you look at it, Denzel Ward gets there a hair soon. Right there, and I think he pulls on Ayuk, and it kinda just moves Ayuk enough that it Can you see me? Am I back? The refs took down the stream. Alright, sorry. Somehow my laptop got unplugged, and it died on me. But we're back. Apologize for that. That was awesome. I found my son playing underneath my desk earlier today, and I realized just now what he was doing under there. He unplugged my laptop. Awesome. But we're back on track. I thought this was a great throw. Pressure barreling down on Brock. I mean, look at that pressure. He knows he's going to get blasted, uncorks it. Oh man, if Ayuk catches this, stays on his feet, man, what a play this would be. Changes the entire complexion of the game, but like I said, Ward gets there a little early, but it's in real time. I don't think it's enough to call the play. It's just a great heads up play by Ward to recover, and he is able to, I think, affect Ayuk just enough. So that was unfortunate. So like we talking about, it's not all bad. Brock didn't have just this atrocious game. He made some good plays. He made some good throws. Kittle with a phenomenal block on the end around. Look at Kittle, tosses 23 with one arm out of bounds. Get one more look at it. So 7-0. 49ers are doing okay. right? We missed that one, but then we get this really nice play action right here. 49ers take advantage of uh, how hard the Cleveland Browns are trying to stop the run. I mean, you can see you have safeties, you have linebackers going hard after Christian McCaffrey. So the run fake is on point. Brock just flips it to Brandon Ayuk, and then we get Brandon Ayuk going airborne over the defender. Whoop. So far, as you've seen, Brock's been playing all right. Mean stiff arm from CMC. Hasn't been great, but it hasn't been the worst. Doing all right. So this one I would put this on Brock. It's a catchable ball. It's a catchable ball, but based on what we've seen of Brock throughout his career, I would expect this ball to be on the upfield shoulder. Now, could he have been pulling Ayuk away from the safety? Potentially. Potentially. But again, I do know it's a hard adjustment to come back for the ball. Ayuk drops it. So this one, I think you can pick your poison on. You can either say Brock was throwing back shoulder to pull him away from the safety, not leading him into contact. Still catchable. But I think, you'd want to ask, is that intentional back shoulder or not? And I put it in the out of character throw because he had more of these, right? This wasn't a one-off. We saw a bunch of these. So that's where I put it as uncharacteristic throws. I thought, we've seen Brock make this throw on the money, right? And it's just a little behind. Who knows? Maybe you hit him in stride. Ayuk's able to shake off one. So I didn't love it. I thought that I would consider that Brock throwing behind. But again, he's still pretty clean throughout this first half. He's played pretty well. We get our own tush push, I guess, with no emphasis on the tush push. This throw I really liked from Brock Purdy. We got one of those baseball off-platform sidearm throws. I really like that throw. It's literally like a pitcher throwing it right down the center. You're going to see from the back angle how he's going to have to find the passing lane and kind of dip his shoulder. See how he kind of flips it around? Like, that's a nice throw. I like the whole process about it. With the defender coming around the corner. It's a good throw. This play I felt could have been a touchdown. I would like to be a fly on the wall for in Kyle Shanahan's meeting room to see what he would say to Juwan Jennings. As a blocker, I was always taught to keep my eyes upfield. So if you, let's say you get beat underneath. So like, see how Juwan has 20, kind of go underneath him. I'm taught like at this point, there's nothing you can do. So get your eyes upfield and go make a block. Instead, Juwan like tries to go backwards and he falls. And if he had that mentality of, all right, well, at this point, it's up to CMC to make him miss. If he got eyes upfield and he got on number 1, I would say that's a touchdown. So that would be my coaching point right here is you're not going to make every block, but don't go backwards. And he unfortunately slips because it's slick out there. But get your eyes back upfield. If he gets his hat on 1, that's a touchdown. So just keep your eyes upfield. Juwan is a phenomenal blocker. I'm not worried about it. That would just be a small coaching point that I would wonder if that's what Kyle's saying. Just like, man, if they get you underneath like that, just turn your head upfield, get to second level. If you get your hat on 1, CMC's walking in for a touchdown. So they were able to get some chunk yardage. Runs up the middle. Second and 4. This particular play, watch number 26. So number 26 right here knows exactly where the ball is going. So watch him. So I don't know if he's signaling that they're going to pull juice. It kind of feels like he knows because he's basically saying, I'm switch off this. And then right here, you can see he's telling him, oh, it's going back. And then look at where he points. He points right at the hole and then goes and makes the tackle. So that's being prepared. That's understanding what the team is trying to throw at you. 26 knew what was happening here. Look at where he points. And then look at where he goes. They were prepared. Makes a good play as a result. Forces the 49ers into a 3rd and 6. And then you can see how hard the safety drove down on Christian McCaffrey. They were keyed on Christian McCaffrey. They were all over him. That was part of their game plan, was Christian McCaffrey is not going to beat us out of the backfield. They constantly had 2 guys with eyes on Christian McCaffrey the entire game. So the 49ers moving forward need to understand that. If that's how defenses are going to play them, and obviously they kick a field goal, Jake Moody makes it, it's 10-7. But again, one of the emphases one of the takeaways is how the defense is playing Christian McCaffrey. Obviously that changes when Christian McCaffrey leaves the game. But again, watch 5, watch 22. They are like, we'd rather send 2 at Christian McCaffrey and single up on everyone else. This screen was crazy, by the way. I thought it's a play action to like, I don't know. Brock has to do like a full 180 flip around and he has 2 defenders in his face. They had blockers, but even if he does catch this, they don't block the 2. They had numbers. It was like 4 on 4 on 2. But I don't know, it's just a crazy screenplay the way it developed. And then the way it came at them. And so this we start to see some misses from Brock. So as you can see, pretty much through the first 2 quarters, Brock's played okay. He's hasn't done anything really bad. Like, he's playing good for the most part. And then, like, even this throw, it's not a bad throw. Kittle was held, wasn't able to pull off. So Brock's he's playing fine. I haven't seen anything yet that really concerns me about Brock's play so far. We completes this one to Juice on the money. All right, that's fine. Right? So are we all in agreement? Like, I've showed all his misses so far. I've showed all his hits through the second half, and he really hasn't shown any signs of, I mean, it's not perfect, but he's also not like, it's not crazy. And then this one to me was uncharacteristic of Brock. That's coming up where he misses Christian McCaffrey, which would have been, obviously a touchdown. They convert the 3rd and 1. And I think this is when it kind of started raining as well. So it's starting to get a little wet. I see the ponchos out in the stands. This one, we get blown up by former 49er. I think that was Mo Hurst. No, that wasn't Mo Hurst. That was a friend of the channel, Jordan Elliott. I don't know if you noticed this, but watch him pull Ray's face mask. And that really messes everything up. So the D tackle pulls Ray's face mask, stops him from pulling across formation, and just makes everything real gross. Okay, so what do we got? 2nd and 14. This is the one. This is the one where I felt this was uncharacteristic of Brock. So we've broken down some deep ball misses from Brock before, especially I think back to the Rams game. And with the Rams one, I'm like, those weren't that bad. This one's a little, I'll just say, not as good. To me, what stood out is like his pocket fidgetness. One of the things we've seen from Brock when he's in the pocket is he's really calm, cool. His feet aren't active. He just kind of stands back there, right? And he understands he's got a free play. So not a lot of pressure, right? It's a free play. You can let this thing rip and it's fine. Now, obviously, he's holding on to the ball as long as he can. He knows he wants to go to CMC. But to me, it's like watching his feet, right? Like, see his feet hopping around. I feel like that's uncharacteristic of Brock Purdy. Brock, when he gets to his hitch, he normally is smooth and he just kind of chills in the pocket. Now, I get it. Myles Garrett was coming around. But you can see the ball wasn't in line with CMC's track. And so that's why I consider this to be more of a bad throw because when Brock goes to let this thing rip, CMC's on his track. And so CMC on his track is running right on the inside of the numbers, right? So let's draw an imaginary line right upside this we want to put the ball somewhere on this track. That's what we're identifying, and we want to put it on this track. Watch where the ball ends up. The ball ends up here. So to me, that's a miss. That's a miss. And that is uncharacteristic because when we talked about the misses against the Rams, he was missing, but he was still on track. That was the difference. Is like, let's say he missed Ayuk. I think he missed Debo on some deep balls. He missed them just by getting it a little too out on in front, but it was on track. This one is not on track. This one was way off to the side. And so then that's when I'm watching the tape back and I'm like, that is an uncharacteristic. This whole thing, the feet, the placement, all of it. The read is right. It's a free play. I liked everything about it, but I was like, that just doesn't feel like Brock. It just didn't feel like him. We don't see Brock having jittery feet. And you see how that ball sailed on him. So I was like, that's interesting. Okay, well, and again, up until this point, Brock has been good. He's been fine. He's been fine. He comes back, throws a dime to Juwan Jennings. So again, I'm watching this tape. And I'm like, I honestly forgot about this throw to Juwan. And I was like, oh, yeah, there we go. Just so like when we've talked about the miss to Ayuk and Debo, like this is where I envision, it's a little high, but I'll take that. This is like upfield shoulder ball placement on in breaking routes. Perfect. Money. Right? Watch his feet. Clean, calm, robotic, some may say. That's what we have come to be used to from Brock Purdy. So this is where we start to identify where Brock starts to kind of go away from what we've seen him be successful with throughout his career so far. And then this is where I interpreted Brock having grip issues with the football. This to me was also a very uncharacteristic throw from Brock. Brock can throw on the move. That's never been a problem. It's one of his best attributes is his ability to throw on the move because he's kind of like a baseball player. Like they turn, when they turn double plays and stuff like that. But notice the ball. Brock throws a clean spiral. That thing is a duck. And it goes out of bounds like this. This is where I'm like, all right, the ball is looking like it's becoming an issue, right? We know it's slick. We know it's raining. And so to me, I'm like, that's not necessarily Brock can't throw the football. That's more of Brock is losing his grip on the football. Like that's not a Brock throw, right? Like we've watched enough Brock tape to know that this is uncharacteristic. This is not normal. This is an oddity in Brock Purdy's game, right? And then right after that, Ray or someone doesn't know where to line up. And as a result, they get a delay of game. So we just got Brock misses Dwelly. It would have been a hard back shoulder throw. It would have been a gimme, but there wasn't even a chance that Dwelly could make the play. Then we get the delay of game, right, which seemed typical of this game. Is like we started to have this snowballing effect of negative plays with negative penalties constantly driving the 49ers back. It's 2nd and 15. The rain is coming down. You see the rain. You can see it in the film. So it's raining. The rain is coming down. And then we have a miss to Kittle. Still feels uncharacteristic from a ball placement standpoint. Again, no pressure. He has all the time in the world. And so I don't know if this was on Brock, if it's on Purdy, because as you can see, Kittle looks back over his left shoulder. Brock is throwing over to his right shoulder. So I don't know if there's a missed anticipation here on the route, because obviously Brock throws with anticipation. You can see Brock is throwing this before Kittle even turns for the ball. So I don't know if Brock's expecting an outbreaking route based on the cornerback's leverage. To me, that makes sense. So I don't know. I put this as a Brock miss, but it could be just a miscommunication on the route between Kittle based on where he turns his head and where the ball is. It's not the most egregious miss, but again, clean pocket. Just weren't on the same page. We'll call it that. All right, weren't on the same page. Right, Kittle turns his head inside. Brock's throwing to the outside. Just not enough time to adjust. And so you want to see a play that represents the grip issues that Brock was having. Here you go. So as you can see, after this happened, clearly not ideal, but it's also raining, so it is what it is. I saw the slow-mo replay of it. It clearly just slipped right out of his hands. Thankfully, they got it back, but they weren't able to score. So now we get into halftime. So let's talk about the halftime evaluation, right, of what Brock has done so far. I would say Brock has been better than he's been bad, right? I would say Brock completed a majority of his passes. He had a couple that got away from him. Wasn't anything crazy, right? So until that last drive, we saw maybe a miscommunication between Kittle. We saw a miss to Dwelly. Looked like the ball slipped out on him. And then we saw another miss, or the ball completely slipped out of his fingers. That is where things started to trend in the wrong direction for Brock. And then he proceeds in the second half to really struggle. So that's the thing. It's like Brock played a decent first half. That last drive was very interesting, and he really never got totally back on track throughout the game. Until the last drive. And even the last drive, he wasn't perfect, but he made enough plays. This one, he tried to fit it over a layered throw. This is a very difficult throw over JOK, who's one of the most athletic linebackers in the NFL. He's up there with Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw as the most athletic linebackers. Loved him coming out of the draft. As you can see, Brock's close to getting it over him, but not enough. And so he gets his hands on that ball. I am wondering, like based on if obviously you don't want to he wants to play within structure, and that's a really hard throw. Like, let's be honest, like, it would have been, I think, a pretty accurate throw if he got it over him. But if Brock Purdy could have bought time to throw to the second window, so instead of throwing over, if we're calling this maybe first window, second window, if he could have just waited and tried to float it over to the third window, again, that's challenging because then you're dealing with more pressure and you have to buy more time and maybe escape out of the pocket. But if you could somehow get this ball into this zone, this throwing lane, and he catches it in stride, there's a lot of room to work with. So it's a nitpick, but okay, we got away with one. That's fine. I've seen Brock complete more layered throws over the middle linebacker than I've seen him not, so I'm not terribly concerned with that. Definitely not terribly concerned with that. Running game started to, be an issue. And again, one of the things that these guys did is they took a safety and they consistently dropped that safety into the box to almost be like a McCaffrey spy. Like, he's just spying McCaffrey. Delpit's only job is to spy McCaffrey. So that's really how I see it. But I think they have, like, if they're in man, the linebacker also has McCaffrey, but they are spying with the safety as well, and they found a lot of success doing that. So it's going to be one of the interesting things to see how teams adjust, if they're going to feel comfortable dedicating a safety to play basically a lot of single high, a lot of man. See how they operate, but it's going to be interesting. This one, so again, another uncharacteristic throw. So I don't know if he got hit here. That would be something that would be interesting to see if he got hit in the elbow. Because as you can see, I almost called him Randy Gregory. Myles Garrett comes screaming around the edge, and he reaches out with that left arm. I don't know if he gets just enough of that elbow to force Purdy to push this a little bit, because when you look at the ball placement, like, this is uncharacteristic. This is something that we don't see. We don't see this from Brock. Again, we looked at the Juwan Jennings throw that he had earlier on a very similar route, high and away, like high upfield shoulder. This is very uncharacteristic. So I don't know if he got just enough, like if Garrett got just enough of that elbow that this thing pulled on him. But yeah, so like, okay, we had almost interception, then an interception. Oh, uh-oh. Oh yeah, the Purdy haters are popping. They are loving this. They've been waiting. They've been waiting for what, like 12 games for this? But that's the thing. It's like, look across the league. A lot of quarterbacks aren't perfect. Just ask Jalen. Just ask pretty much anyone. So whatever. So this one, they are going to rush 5. They got play action. They got a free rusher. Brock is responsible for the free rusher, and he bails out, almost catches him. Brock knows that this free rusher is coming, almost gets him. Tripping is a finable act, or not finable, something that you can call a flag on, right? Like you can call a flag for someone tripping, right? If you watch JOK's left leg, he straight up kicks Brock Purdy, which is, I think, effectively why he fell. He straight up kicks him in the leg. So, isn't that a penalty? Like, look at how egregious that is. Up in the air, left leg kick to the knee. That's a penalty, isn't it? These refs suck, man. These refs are terrible. Terrible. Bro, straight up kicked them. Kicked him in the knee. Whatever. Whatever. It happens. I'm not going to cry about it. It happens. On to the next. This was really minimal gain, but it's a crossbody throw. Again, very minimal. But still a hard throw to complete. Almost got away from Kittle. Crossbody throw. I mean, it's not an easy throw. All right, so we're 3rd and 19. Theme of the day. Just constantly behind the sticks. All right, 3rd and 19. Okay, nothing. All right. Punt. A lot of drive killers this game. Not ideal. We get a penalty. Who'd the penalty? I think this was holding on Trent. They called holding on Trent. So first play, the next drive, penalty. All right, backs us up 10 yards. 1st and 20. All right, well, at least it's first down. Oh. Uh-oh. We have a false start. All right, 1st and 25. Beautiful. Beautiful. Just the way we drew it up. CMC is officially out of the game, and it's 1st and 25. Just how we're built. And again, look at the defense. Defense is all over this screen to to Kyle Juszczyk. 91 doesn't bite at all. Mugs, Juice can't do anything. He's got to throw it away. So what are you going to do? That's a better defensive play. That's a scheme versus scheme. They were clued in on what they were trying to do. They stopped it. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? We get a nice little Jordan Mason run, though. Jordan Mason right now is, to me, the RB2. I think he's earned that. Obviously, Elijah's just been out and hurt, but I do think Mason has taken advantage of his ops the most. And I think he does deserve to be the RB2 moving forward. Doesn't mean I don't want to see Elijah. I think they should mix in together. but definitely Mason needs to get the first crack at him. I mean, you can see he runs hard, man. He really runs hard, but it doesn't matter because what is it? 3rd and 20. It's 3rd and 20, all for naught. Doesn't matter all that much. All right. 49ers punt. Okay, we get the ball back. They're down 13-10 at this point, beginning of the 4th quarter. So, time to make some plays. Uncharacteristic of Brock, I would say. And it's not an egregious miss, but it's just enough out in front where IU can't grab that. Dang, guys. I just came across this video. The Browns did our boombox entrance yesterday. No way. The Browns did our boombox entrance yesterday. That's cold-blooded. Damn. Oh my gosh. You guys want to see it? And then we'll get back to the film breakdown. Oh, that's brutal. They did the boombox entrance. That's tough. All right, let me see if I can pull it up. Come on, man. It really wasn't our day yesterday, apparently. It really wasn't our day yesterday. We got the Browns taking over, doing the boombox. Man. All right, we're going to take a quick little pause just to look at these shenanigans. All right, this should take like 2 seconds. Oh, look at them. They got the bump box and everything. This makes me a little upset. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I don't like that. I don't. But hey, they won, man, which makes that even worse. They won. Damn it. Just allow us to enjoy this film breakdown in peace while we cry over missed opportunities. Damn it. Those sons of bitches. I don't like that. That really makes me want to see these guys again. Hey, to be fair, I think we needed this. I think we needed this. Hopefully 49ers manage this the right way and they take it personally. That's my hope, is that they take it personally. So this is a miss to Ayuk. I I have a hard time being too hard on I have a hard time being too critical of Brock on this one. This one is just he's got defenders barreling down on him. They get a stunt that comes free. Burford isn't able to pick up 94 when Brendel goes to pick up the looper, and Brock has to just rip this thing. And also, too, it doesn't look like it came out super clean. Kind of wobbling on him. So we got that miss. I would say that that one is a more indicative of the pressure and him having to get rid of the ball. It's funny though. We talked about when Brock Purdy was going to have a bad game, which was going to happen. I think we talked about that this week. This is a good run play by Jordan Mason for a touchdown after the Diamador Lenore interception. Great blocking by everyone up front. Charlie Warner, Ray, Kittle, Trent, Brendel. Good blocking. Great run by Jordan Mason. But we talked about this week. Hold on a sec. I think we got an injury update. Gives injury updates. Christian McCaffrey oblique shoulder. CMC is currently having an MRI. Debo will be day to day. Trent Williams' ankle does not have a high ankle sprain. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. So still TBD on Christian McCaffrey right now, but no. Oh, thank goodness. I got to make a post. So good news regarding the injuries. Trent Williams avoids high ankle sprain. And this is the last drive. So when we needed Brock showed up. All right. So you saw that whole second half wasn't great at all. But when we needed Brock started to show up. Now he still had some uncharacteristic throws, but he still had some clutch throws down the stretch. Thank goodness, though. So I don't love that we still don't know what's going down with CMC. That kind of makes me nervous. All right, so that's good. Thank goodness. Whew. Well, thank goodness for 2 out of the 3. Dre Greenlaw's also expected to return, but we are still waiting and seeing. So you probably watched so far Purdy missed to Juwan, then Purdy kind of lets this thing rip down the sideline. I don't know if that was a throwaway or what. Gets away from him. This was a holding on a crucial 3rd down, so that was a big play for the San Francisco 49ers to get that holding penalty, which it was. It was the right call. And then that sets us up for Brandon Ayuk to make his big play downfield. It's a great job by Brandon Ayuk. I like the placement because it actually helps Ayuk come back inside towards the middle of the field and makes a good play. BA goes off. This one again, just a little outside. Normally, right there, just a step ahead. Just a step ahead. All right, let's work the slant to Ayuk. Running routes to help create separation. Natural rub routes. Working over the middle. 3rd and 2. So this one was ballsy. 3rd and 2. We got man coverage across the board. They bring what looks to be 0 blitz and then drop 2. Brock throws a dime to Jawan Jennings for a 1st down on a 3rd and 2, where you got to have it. So when you need it, you have pressure too. That's what that's where BCB shows up. So this definitely wasn't Brock's best game, but when he needed to show up, he showed up. That's the key takeaway. Is he went basically the whole second half just struggling. And then on that last drive, when they needed him to show up, he did it. And they put him in position to kick a game winner, and we know how the rest goes. So again, all things considered, definitely wasn't Brock's best game. It was the most human Brock has looked in his entire career. I attribute that to the rain. I feel like he was struggling with his grip on the football throughout the entire game. So there's some of that. There's some of that. But I do think that there's plenty of room for a bounce back. I'm not looking at this where I'm like, oh, Brock got exposed. The 49ers got exposed. They did some things defensively that was really good against the 49ers. But now the 49ers understand what that situation looks like. So, all things considered, the poor play, whatever, from basically the entire offense the second half, they still put themselves in position to win the football game. And it just unfortunately it didn't happen. So I really do think that this isn't the end of the world. I don't think Brock just suddenly turned into a pumpkin like everyone's been waiting for. Was it a good game by Brock? No, it was not. He missed a bunch of throws that were uncharacteristic. But something happened on that last drive heading into halftime, and then it kind of got away from him the rest of the game. Still put him in position to win the football game. So definitely wasn't Brock's best performance. We're not going to sit here and say that. But it also, I still think he can be fine. We get a little bit more accuracy on some of those throws. We're good to go. So I think we're all right. But we'll see. We'll see what next week holds against the Minnesota Vikings inside the Dome. We'll see what we get. But shout out to everyone for tapping in. Make sure you smash that like button. And appreciate you guys. As always, grab your cookies on the way out. I'm out of here. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it.